than the slideshow itself that'll be posted in Canvas, okay? All right, so this is kind of where we started with this quote from Winston Churchill: democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. And that led us to the question, is democracy the best type of government? We can't answer that until we understand what's happening with all these other types of governments, okay? All right, so with that said, those of you who are presenting, you're gonna wanna make sure you're on camera. Those of you who are not presenting, you'll probably wanna take some notes. And then after all the presentations are through, we will have an exit ticket, okay? All right, so your goals during the presentations are, one, to teach. So when you're presenting, you're teaching, not just, I'm doing this for a grade. You really want other people to understand the type of government that you did. Question, if you are presenting, you can ask your classmates questions, all right? If you are not presenting, I will suggest that you put any questions you have in the chat, and then learn. Those of you not presenting, make sure you're taking notes on the types of governments that you're like, oh, I don't know what this really actually is. And then again, we'll do the exit ticket at the end. Okay, so here is the order we are gonna go in. All right, thank you, Asaya. Direct democracy, representative democracy, totalitarian dictatorship, theocracy, absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy, and then oligarchy. Those of you interested in using a graphic organizer to take your notes, here is the link in the chat. You can go ahead and open that up. You can recreate it, or if you're using two different screens, you can actually type directly in it. Because I know that if you're just using one screen, it can be hard to flip between tabs between someone's presentation and your notes. Reminders, be on camera when presenting. You're teaching, not just presenting. And it'll be about 5 minutes per presentation. And so I'm gonna actually stop sharing my screen now and have direct democracy go ahead and get started. If we can have whoever is from direct democracy, go ahead and start sharing your screen. No problem. So for direct democracy, when you all want me to change the slide, you can either just tell me or give me like some kind of head nod, or like go ahead and, you know, some kind of signal to change your slide. All right. You all should be able to see it now. So we're you all can unmute to start.
So we have direct democracy by, oh, it finally loaded, never mind, I'm gonna close that. We have direct democracy by Lana, Bang, Olivia, and Kara.
So what is direct democracy? Direct democracy is a form of government where decisions are made by the citizens. They can vote for whatever laws and policies they believe is the best for their country. And because it's the citizens who are voting for what they want to happen in their government, it's considered a limited government.
Example, citizens. Direct democracy respect their citizens and their opinions and concerns. Citizens are able to propose and pass laws. Power is put in through a majority rule by the people. Some examples are, a great example of a direct democracy is ancient Greece, Athens. Citizens were expected and were able to vote on laws rather than voting on representatives.
An advantage of direct democracy would be that citizens can make the decisions and vote without having to elect a representative to make those decisions for them. And a disadvantage would be having elections and meetings all the time, which would be very time consuming.
And these are our sources. Any questions?
All right, so we still got a couple more minutes before we need to go over to representative democracy. I'll go ahead and put it on the what is a direct democracy screen just so you can take a look at that for a moment. All right, does anyone have any more or any questions about this one? Everyone understands what a direct democracy is? Thumbs up if you do, thumbs down if you don't, thumbs in between. All right, so hopefully this should be a reminder for many of you. And it might also just work out for me to just be the one to present since I have them all now. So let me get to representative democracy. Okay, I will mute myself, and those of you for representative democracy, you are free to begin.
Okay, I'll go. Representative Democracy by Jeremiah Birch, Andrew Brewer, Cassandra Durante, Sterling Green, and Armantasia Whitson. The description: this is a form of democracy in which people vote for representatives who then vote for initiatives. It's different from direct democracy in which people vote for initiatives themselves. Representative democracy can also be called a republic. Category: the government in a representative democracy is limited to certain power. The balances and check system ensures that each branch has limited power and they can veto each other out. This ensures that nobody becomes too powerful and that everyone's rights are protected.
A representative democracy can interact with the citizens in many ways, such as voting and being able to change the law and voice your opinion about things you want changed in the country. Some examples are Canada and the United States of the government.
It's an efficient form of government. People have to say how the government functions. It provides representation for most people. Disadvantages. The government can become to corrupt the majority rules at its expense of the minority. It has costly type of government.
All right, does anyone have any questions for this group about representative democracy, also known as a republic? Have you ever heard people say, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a republic? Have you heard that before? Okay, that's not totally true. We don't live in a direct democracy, we do live in a republic, which is still a democracy. It's just a representative democracy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it on that first slide with information so that you have it. All right, are we good with understanding representative democracy? Thumbs up if yes, thumbs down if no. Okay, awesome. Again, hopefully I'm feeling like this should be a good review from like 7th grade, yeah? The definition is up there. So the checks and balances system, as far as I know, in representative democracies, it exists in pretty much all of them. What they look like difference varies, and we're going to actually talk about that tomorrow. You're fine. All right, Mariella, let me know whenever you're good, okay? Because then we will have totalitarianism, okay, and dictatorships up next. All right, I am ready whenever you guys are.
Okay, so we did totalitarianism and dictatorships. So a dictatorship is a form of government where one person or small group of people takes over the country, often without the support and to the distaste of the citizens. And totalitarianism is very similar. It is a system of government where one person or a group of people is in charge, but there are absolutely no oppositional parties, very few rights for the citizens, and it's often a dictatorship is also a totalitarian government, and a totalitarian government is often a dictatorship.
The advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are monetary gain for leaders, satisfaction for Napoleon, complex or similar mindset, crime levels decrease, dictators can direct government resources immediately, dictators can use their personality to improve international diplomacy, and the disadvantages are potential uproar of citizens, monetary deficit for citizens, crime against humanity often done by leadership, more foreign enemies, and power is often taken by force.
The citizens of an authoritative dictatorship government are often treated like peasants and that they're below the government. The citizens do not get to give an opinion about the government, nor can they go against the dictator. The examples are North Korea, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba.
Okay, I just put a little note about the Napoleonic complex. Basically, this idea that someone always, like a leader, always has to show this like crazy strongman mentality. So that's what Ariane mentioned in the, I think, advantages and disadvantages. So I'm going to keep it here on the description for a moment or two. If you have any questions, now would be the perfect time. Yes. And a lot of times, they use it to talk about like small, like people of smaller stature. So like shorter people, they're always like, oh, you got the Napoleon complex, like always trying to prove yourself. But I'm pretty sure I read a couple articles that Napoleon was not incredibly short. Like he was of average height for that time period. So I don't know where that came about. But all right. Any questions about totalitarianism or dictatorships? Do you feel like you understand it? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Thumbs in between. All right, perfect. All right, just looking at something here. All right, the next one we are doing is theocracy. So theocracy is up next. I will go ahead and mute myself.
Theocracy. Oh, we had Theocracy. Theocracy was by Kevin Frank, by me, Audra Smith, and Serena Solomon.
Treatment. Citizens do not get to express freedom of expression because theocracies do not tolerate freedom of expression. Citizens' rights are very limited and based on religious teachings. In Saudi Arabia, their government is ruled by a king and prime minister. Their laws go off basic laws of governance and that guides justice. The people who reject the religious teachings within the country are given a strict punishment.
Description: a government where religious leaders rule the government in the findings of their religious beliefs. Theocracy is typically in places like Afghanistan, Yemen, and Sudan. Category: a theocracy is a type of unlimited government because it is a government ruled by one or a few. The government leaders are members of the clergy who assert that their authority ultimately derives from God.
Examples of theocracy include Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Vatican City. To further explain on the example, Saudi Arabia is an Islamic theocracy. Non-Muslim propagation is banned, and conversion from Islam to another religion is punishable by death.
Disadvantages. Nation leaders have fear of God that imposes laws and programs that directly benefit them. It creates a problem where it's hard to challenge the ideas of a supernatural being that the average person cannot see or hear. Advantages. New bills and laws are passed very easily in a theocratic government. This is because there are no separate branches answering to each other. It makes it easy and fast to create.
Any questions?
I wasn't sure if Aja got cut off or not.
Her last word was changed, so.
Okay. Thanks.
Frank didn't do his little video at the end.
Do you want us to show the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Kevin Frank, part of the Theocracy Group, and we believe that our theocracy is the best type of government because one, they follow the rules of God and they believe in whatever the Bible says. Two, they are quick to make allies, especially if they have the same belief. And three, they're very fast to pass their bills. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'm excited by this. Awesome. All right. Any questions for theocracy? Can you all still see my screen? Because I know they were actually able to present theirs. No, let me, yeah. So hopefully it should be popping up for you soon. I have the description, category, and citizens treatment all up there for you. So you can take a moment or two to look at that. All right, if you feel good that you understand theocracy, thumbs up, thumbs down, or in between. Thank you to the like 7 people giving me a thumb. All right, the next one is going to be absolute monarchy. Let me go ahead. I will start presenting that for you. If we have time, we can go back and show that one.
We had an absolute monarchy by Manuel J. Daniela and Parita. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantage, their power is unlimited, so laws and other aspects can be changed quickly to adapt to the circumstances. And disadvantages are they're not a democratic process, so all decisions made are final. The leader is not, I didn't mean to put that, is not picked by the people, and the lower class citizens do not get the same privileges.
Description: since it is unlimited, all the power and decisions are held by kings or queens. The possession of being the leader is passed down hereditarily from family member to family member. Category: an absolute monarchy is categorized as an unlimited government. The ruler/leader has no limitations and they have complete control and authority over everything, and the citizens have no rights.
Under an absolute monarchy, citizens aren't given an option in choosing their leaders. They can be punished for openly being against their monarch. Some examples of absolute monarchs are Louis XIV of France from 1643 to 1715, and Saudi Arabia that is currently ruled by the Al Saud family.
Thank you. You feel good about this, that you understand? Thumbs up, thumbs down if you don't, in between if you need more clarification. All right, we're good. Awesome. I was wondering why only one person. Can you read my lips, Dominic? Because you had a thumb up. Oh, wait, I went like this, didn't I? That's what it was. All right, so now we have, you can read hand motions. All right, thanks for that information, Tasia. All right, so we're gonna head over to constitutional monarchy now. Give me 1 second. And as soon as I mute myself, you are free to begin.
So our group did constitutional monarchy. It was Elena, me, Michaela, Ruben, and Tasia. So a constitutional monarchy is a system of government where a monarch shares power with an organized government, just like how the UK's Queen shares power with the Parliament. I think it's considered limited, since the monarch's power is limited by the Constitution, as well as the other side of the government, which makes him not like the absolute monarchy, where no one can basically stop them, or like dictatorships, where they have no opposition.
In this form of government, citizens vote for members in the parliament, but only members choose the prime minister, which would be the equivalent of a president in the US. They must be 18 years of age to vote. I would say that a constitutional monarchy is not a very strict form of government, maybe not as free as the US government, but still fairly lenient.
Some examples of a constitutional monarchy are the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Thailand.
Advantages. It creates stability because you know who the next monarch is going to be. The citizens are protected by the government. The king and queen never have to worry about a campaign. The monarch shares power with the legislator, and it allows the population to maintain some power and control over the government. Disadvantages. The monarch cannot be removed, making changes in the government hard to make. Form of government is expensive. Decisions are made slowly. Money from the people goes to support the monarch's family. Since a monarchy is hereditary, young children could potentially become the head of state.
And here is why constitutional monarchy is the best. Constitutional monarchy is best because the government is held to certain standards and citizens do still have some form of control. Because the line of leaders have already been chosen, civilians don't have to worry about an election and future kings and queens do not have to campaign. In places where constitutional monarchy is present, the government must share power with the legislature. While this may make decision-making slightly slower, it does not leave everything to the king or queen or whoever is most in power.
Sorry, I said thank you and all this stuff. It's really important for those of you who were not presenting on either of the monarchies to make sure you understand the distinction between an absolute monarchy and a constitutional monarchy. So the absolute monarchy is the one that the government is unlimited. They can kind of do what they want. Whereas the constitutional monarchy, like Muhammad said earlier, is limited because it is more democratic. It's usually in partnership with a form of democracy. So it's really kind of important to make sure you understand the distinction. So when you think of monarchies, think absolute monarchy is when the king or queen has absolute power. Okay, are there any questions about constitutional monarchy? No? All right, if you understand it, give me a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down if you need a little bit of clarification in between. All right, so before I get this other one up, I'm just going to go ahead and leave the description and category up for you. I'm muted again? No, I'm not. Dominic, you playing with me. I was about to say, I'm literally looking at the microphone. And everyone did do the thumbs up, thumbs down thing this time. All right, does anyone need more time on constitutional monarchy? Okay, awesome. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna get started with oligarchy. I'll mute myself and then you can begin.
So our group had an oligarchy. Next slide. What is an oligarchy? Oligarchy is a small group of people that are self-governed to keep the power running in a state in their small self-run organizations. Having this type of government benefits people in the party because having a small group of people running the government allows your personal ideas and beliefs to be broadcasted abroad.
An oligarchy government is an unlimited type of government because the power is run through a small group of people that maintain complete control of the population of its rule. This shows that they have a limited checks and balances, resulting in the ability to gain unlimited power. You could pose the question that many types of government fall under the umbrella of an oligarchy government. Basically, an oligarchy coexists with democratic theocracy and kingdom hierarchies by concentrating the power of these governments to a small group of usually wealthy people. One of the main examples is Russia. The Russian democratic government has a small group of very wealthy people that if you don't keep in contact with them, you lose all of your power and wealth, no matter the position in your government system.
So all in all, citizens are treated due to their wealth in the government because the ultimate goal for the nation is to gain wealth. So fixed prices due to high and low income. And then they have no say-so in the government system, and rules are based off of money and wealth of the leaders.
Advantages are power is centralized into one body, more manpower in other aspects of society since one group has to deal with bigger issues. Disadvantages are the ruling class has all the power and can push for policies benefiting them. There's no new perspectives in government, and it can lead to rebellion since people won't feel like they have any say-so in their laws.
Some real-world examples are Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, South Africa, North Korea, Venezuela, Ukraine, Zimbabwe, and some people consider the United States.
Awesome, thank you so much. I made this one last because sometimes oligarchies can be the hardest to understand. Long story short is it's a small group of people running a country, but they made some really good points. You see this list of examples here is sort of lengthy. And you can kind of see different, if you're familiar with any of these governments, you'll know that some claim to be democracies, others are theocracies. But what I find really interesting, and I'll go back to this slide really quickly before I leave it on the slide for you to capture any additional notes. I believe Nathaniel read this one. It's in that second paragraph. Yes, dictatorships too. Thank you. The second paragraph at the bottom was the second paragraph in general said you could pose the question that many types of government fall under the umbrella of an oligarchy. Okay, it's because the power is concentrated with a small group of usually wealthy people. So it might be hard to think, because this is technically, like when you think about oligarchies, they are unlimited. They tend to be authoritarian. But if you think about the concept of a small number of people having control, now, when you think about who has control of the government of the United States, like what comes to mind? The president, okay, president's one. What else? Who else do we think about? Should be we the people, Senate and the House. Okay, right. So if you think about like the president and the president's cabinet, they tend to be pretty wealthy people. If you go as far as, Congress, it depends. Do you consider 535 people a small group or not? But the idea is that the people who are in power tend to be the wealthiest people. But I'll go ahead and I'll leave it on this one for just a moment. All right. Any questions for the oligarchy group? All right, you feel like you understand it, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. In between, if you need just a little bit of clarification. Okay, I see all thumbs up. All righty, so I am going to go back to totalitarianism. Totalitarianism and dictatorships, did you guys have the video embedded in there? I was asking, you had mentioned the video. Did you do it and it's embedded? I don't see it embedded in here. Did you have a video you wanted to share? Oh, okay. I got it now. Now that makes more sense. Better now. All right. So I believe we got everything. That wasn't too bad, right? I know some people moaned and groaned, oh my goodness, we're doing a group project. It's the first week of the semester. But that was pretty easy. That was a nice way to get our feet wet, work with each other, and teach the rest of the class some things. So now, the only thing you have left to do is an exit ticket. So the exit ticket is going to be matching to make sure that you really do understand the different types. Please feel free to use your notes on any exit tickets. You'll go to modules and then you'll click on today's date to find it. If you are interested in tutoring, I am available today. I usually start at 3 o'clock, but I have a meeting at 3. So if you're interested in getting help or clarification in terms of types of government, please feel free to come at, I'll change that in a second, Dominic. Please feel free to come at 3:30. Thursday at 9:30 to 10. Thanks. Thursday from 9:30 to 10 in the morning during that advisory time, you can come and, to tutoring then. The links will be on the live lessons page, okay? So if there are no other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and change your exit ticket availability time. So give me one moment. All right, so if you refresh your page, you'll see that it's available at 8:55. So that's just in 1 minute. But if you have no further questions for me, I'm going to stop recording, and you are free